Ethan stood at the edge of his front porch, staring out at the empty street. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. It was beautiful, but he felt a heavy weight in his chest. Just a few months ago, his best friend, Mia, had moved to another city, and ever since, everything felt different. The laughter they shared, the late-night talks, and the adventures they had were now just memories that made him feel even more alone. Every day, Ethan thought about Mia. They had been inseparable since childhood. They played together, studied together, and supported each other through thick and thin. But now, she was hundreds of miles away, and the distance felt like an ocean between them. He missed her more than he could express. He wanted to reach out, to reconnect, but he didn't know how. Ethan sighed and pulled out his phone. He had typed messages to her so many times, but never hit send. What would he even say? "Hey, I miss you?" It felt too simple, too weak. He wanted to say something that could bridge the gap between them, something that could bring back their connection. But all he felt was silence. As the days turned into weeks, Ethan's sadness deepened. He walked through their old neighborhood, remembering the times they spent at the park, laughing and playing games. He could almost hear her voice calling to him, teasing him about his terrible basketball skills. But now, the park felt empty, just like his heart. One evening, as he sat at his desk, he opened his laptop and scrolled through photos of their time together. There they were, smiling, carefree, and full of life. He thought about how much Mia had always believed in him, how she pushed him to try new things and encouraged him when he felt down. She was a light in his life, and without her, everything felt dull. Suddenly, he felt a surge of determination. He couldn't let the distance keep them apart. He had to reach out. Taking a deep breath, Ethan opened a blank email and began to write. "Mia," he typed. "I hope you're doing well. I miss you. Things aren't the same without you here. I want to hear about your new life. I want to reconnect." As he wrote, he felt a sense of hope. Maybe this was the step he needed to take. But his fingers hesitated over the keyboard. What if she didn't want to talk? What if she had moved on? Ethan closed his eyes, remembering Mia's laughter and the way her eyes sparkled when she was excited. He couldn't let fear hold him back. With a final deep breath, he hit send and watched as the email disappeared into the digital ether. Days passed, and Ethan found himself checking his email constantly, hoping for a reply. Each time he saw a new message, his heart raced, only to sink again when it wasn't from Mia. But he refused to give up. He thought about her often, imagining her smiling face and wondering how she was adjusting to her new life. Then, one afternoon, as he was scrolling through his inbox, he saw a message from Mia. His heart raced as he clicked it open. "Ethan," the email began, "I'm so glad to hear from you. I miss you too. Things are different here, but I'm getting used to it. I've made some new friends, but it's not the same as having you around. Can we set up a time to call?" Ethan felt a rush of relief and excitement. She missed him too. He quickly replied, suggesting a time to talk. The days leading up to their call felt like an eternity, but finally, the moment arrived. As he sat in front of his laptop, waiting for the video call to connect, he felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. When Mia's face finally appeared on the screen, Ethan felt a wave of happiness wash over him. She looked a little different. Her hair was longer, and she had a new sparkle in her eyes, but she was still the same Mia he knew and loved. "Ethan," she exclaimed, her face lighting up. "It's so good to see you." "You too," he replied, grinning from ear to ear. "I've missed you so much." They talked for hours, sharing stories about their lives, their challenges, and their dreams. Mia told him about her new job, her new friends, and the city she was learning to call home. Ethan shared his struggles with school and how hard it had been to adjust without her by his side. "I always believed we would find a way to stay connected," Mia said, her eyes warm with sincerity. "Distance doesn't change how much we care about each other." Ethan felt a surge of hope. He realized that even though they were far apart, their friendship was still strong. They made a pact to call each other regularly and to send messages whenever they could. The distance no longer felt insurmountable. As they wrapped up their call, Mia smiled and said, "Remember, no matter where life takes us, we'll always be there for each other. You can count on that." Ethan smiled back, his heart full. "I know, and I promise to reach out more often." Just as they were about to hang up, Mia leaned closer to the screen and said, "You know, even if we're apart, we're still connected. And that's what truly matters." In that moment, Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. The distance between them no longer felt like a burden. Instead, it felt like an opportunity to strengthen their bond. As he closed his laptop, Ethan realized something important: love and friendship could transcend miles and obstacles. He felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose. No matter how far apart they were, he would always carry Mia in his heart. And he knew, even if she collapsed in his arms one day, she would whisper something that would change everything. For now, they had each other, and that was enough. Ethan sat at his desk, staring at the blank screen of his laptop. The call with Mia had been a bright spot in his week, but now that the excitement had faded, he felt a familiar weight settle back into his chest. The distance between them still loomed large, and though they had promised to stay in touch, he couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness creeping in again. He looked around his room, filled with memories of their time together. Pictures of their adventures hung on the walls, reminding him of the laughter they shared. But without Mia there to share those moments, the room felt emptier. Ethan sighed and leaned back in his chair, trying to shake off the loneliness that seemed to cling. To him, days turned into weeks, and Ethan made sure to keep his promise. He and Mia video called every weekend, sharing stories about their lives and supporting each other through challenges. Yet, as much as he cherished these moments, he still felt a distance that words alone couldn't bridge. He wanted to do more. He wanted to show Mia that no matter how far apart they were, he was always there for her. One evening, while scrolling through his phone, Ethan came across a photo of the two of them at the beach, their smiles bright under the sun. An idea sparked in his mind. What if he surprised Mia? What if he visited her? The thought filled him with excitement. He could show her that their friendship was strong enough to overcome any distance. Ethan quickly began to plan. He checked his savings, figuring out how much he could afford to spend on a trip. It wouldn't be easy, but the idea of seeing Mia again filled him with determination. He began to save money, taking on extra chores around the house and cutting back on small expenses. Every dollar he saved brought him closer to his goal. As the weeks passed, Ethan's anticipation grew. He would send Mia little messages, telling her about his day and asking her about hers. He loved hearing her voice and seeing her smile, but he wanted to experience it in person. He dreamt of the moment when he would surprise her, watching her eyes light up when she saw him. Finally, after months of saving, Ethan had enough money for a bus ticket. He checked the schedule and found a weekend when he could make the trip. The thought of being with Mia again filled him with hope and excitement. He couldn't wait to see her face when he arrived. On the day of his trip, Ethan woke up early, his heart racing with anticipation. He packed a small bag with a few essentials and a special gift for Mia, a bracelet he had made himself, a symbol of their friendship. It was a simple piece, but he hoped it would remind her of the bond they shared. When Ethan arrived at the bus station, he felt a mixture of nerves and excitement. As the bus pulled away, he looked out the window, watching his hometown fade into the distance. With every mile, he felt the weight of loneliness lift, replaced by a sense of purpose. He was doing this for Mia, and that made it all worthwhile. Bus ride felt long, but Ethan spent the time thinking about their friendship. He remembered all the times they had supported each other, how they had shared their dreams, and how much Mia believed in him. He realized that their connection was not just about being physically close. It was about being there for each other, no matter the distance. When he finally arrived in Maya's city, he felt a rush of excitement. He took a deep breath and made his way to her new apartment, his heart pounding in his chest. He wanted everything to be perfect. As he approached her building, he felt butterflies in his stomach. Would she be happy to see him? Would she be surprised? Ethan reached the door and knocked, his heart racing. He could hear footsteps approaching, and he held his breath in anticipation. When the door swung open, Mia stood there, her eyes wide. "With shock, Ethan," she exclaimed, her voice filled with disbelief. "What are you doing here?" He couldn't help but grin. "Surprise, I wanted to see you." Tears of joy filled her eyes as she stepped aside to let him in. "I can't believe you came. This is amazing." They embraced tightly, and in that moment, all the distance and loneliness faded away. Ethan felt a warmth spread through him, knowing he had taken a step that mattered. They spent the next few hours catching up, laughing, and reminiscing about old times. Ethan returned home from his visit with Mia, his heart full, but also heavy. The memories of their time together flooded his mind, and he thought about how much he had missed her. The laughter, the deep conversations, and the comfort of her presence made him feel alive. But now, back in his quiet room, he felt the distance between them again. The next morning, as sunlight streamed through his window, Ethan woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. He remembered how Mia had told him that their friendship was stronger than any distance. He wanted to prove that to her and to himself. He couldn't just sit back and let the gap between them grow. He had to take action. Over breakfast, Ethan decided that he would write to Mia more often. He wanted to keep their connection alive, not just with phone calls, but through letters. There was something special about putting pen to paper, something personal that felt right. He could share his thoughts, his dreams, and his everyday experiences. It would be a way for them to feel close, even when they were far apart. He found a simple notebook and began to write. The first letter was easy. He wrote about his day, his classes, and how much he missed her. He poured his heart into the words, trying to express how important she was to him. He ended the letter by telling her he couldn't wait to hear about her life and all of her new adventures. After finishing the letter, Ethan felt a weight lift off his shoulders. He sealed it in an envelope and headed to the mailbox, excitement bubbling inside him. As he dropped the letter in, he felt hopeful. This was the beginning of a new way to stay connected. Days turned into weeks, and Ethan made it a habit to write to Mia every week. He shared funny stories, his thoughts about life, and even his struggles. In return, Mia wrote back, filling his mailbox with her own letters. Each letter felt like a warm hug, bridging the gap between them. She shared her experiences, her new friends, and even her own moments of loneliness. One evening, as Ethan was reading one of Mia's letters, he came across a line that made him pause. She wrote, "I sometimes feel lost without you here, but your letters remind me that I'm not alone." Those words struck a chord within him. He realized that they were both navigating their own feelings of distance, but they were also finding ways to support each other through it. Inspired by their letters, Ethan wanted to do something special. For Mia, he remembered the bracelet he had given her and how it symbolized their friendship. He decided to create something similar for himself, a matching bracelet that would remind him of her. He gathered some materials and spent the evening crafting it, feeling a sense of connection with her even while he worked alone. When he finished, he held the bracelet in his hands, admiring the way it sparkled in the light. It was simple, but beautiful, just like their friendship. He felt a surge of hope as he thought about how this small act could strengthen their bond. A few days later, he wrote Mia another letter, telling her about the bracelet he had made. He explained how each bead represented a memory they shared, and how it reminded him that they would always be connected, no matter the distance. He sealed the letter, along with a photo of his bracelet, and sent it off with excitement. When Mia received the letter, she was overjoyed. She called Ethan the next day, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. "I love the bracelet. It's perfect. I can't believe you made one for yourself, too. Now we'll always have a piece of each other." "With us," Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth spread through him. "I wanted to make sure we both remember how strong our friendship is. No matter where we are, we're still together in spirit." Their calls continued, and with every conversation, they shared more of their lives. Mia opened up about her challenges at work and the new friends she was making. Ethan talked about his classes and the projects he was working on. They both realized that even though they were separated by miles, they were still very much a part of each other's lives. One day, Ethan received a letter from Mia that changed everything. In it, she wrote about a difficult day she had experienced. She felt overwhelmed by her new job and the pressure to fit in. "Some days, I just wish I could go back to how things were, when we could hang out and talk about anything," she wrote. "I miss you so much, Ethan. You always knew how to make me feel better." Reading her words, Ethan felt a pang of sadness. He could sense her struggle, and it hurt him to know she felt lonely. He wanted to be there for her, to lift her spirits and remind her of her strength. He thought about how they had always supported each other, and he knew he had to do something. Ethan decided to put together a special surprise for Mia. He spent the next few days collecting items that reminded him of their friendship. He gathered photos, small mementos from their past, and even a playlist of songs they used to listen to together. He carefully packaged everything in a box, writing a heartfelt letter to explain each item and its significance. When the box was ready, he shipped it off, feeling excited about the surprise. He could only imagine Mia's reaction when she opened it. He hoped it would bring her the same joy and comfort that she had always given him. A week later, Mia called him, her voice filled with excitement. "Ethan, I got your package." "It's amazing," she exclaimed. "I can't believe you thought of all these things. It made me cry." Ethan felt a rush of happiness. "I just wanted you to know that you're not alone. I'm always here for you, no matter what." Mia's voice softened. "You have no idea how much this means to me. It reminds me that even when things get tough, we're still connected. You have this incredible way of making me feel better." In that moment, Ethan realized the true power of their friendship. It was not just about being physically close. It was about being there for each other in times of need. He felt a renewed sense of hope, knowing that they could always rely on one another, no matter the distance. As their conversation continued, Mia shared her plans for the future. She talked about her dreams and how she wanted to travel and explore new places. "And I want you to come with me," she said. "We'll go on adventures just like we used to. No matter where life takes us, I want us to experience it together." Ethan felt a surge of excitement at her words. "Absolutely. I can't wait for our adventures. We'll make new memories, just like old times." As they hung up, Ethan felt a warmth in his heart. Their friendship had grown stronger through the challenges they faced. He realized that distance could never break the bond they shared. No matter what happened, they would always be there for each other. He knew that even if she collapsed in his arms one day, her whispered words would remind him of their unbreakable connection. They were more than just friends. They were each other's support, hope, and strength. And with that understanding, Ethan felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Asterisk. As summer began to fade, Ethan felt both excited and anxious. He and Mia had been sharing letters and calls for months, and their friendship had grown stronger, despite the distance. But he still felt a nagging worry. What if things changed when they finally reunited in person? Would their connection still be as strong, or would the time apart make it feel different? One sunny afternoon, Ethan sat at his desk, staring out the window. He thought about Mia and their plans to see each other again. They had talked about meeting up during her upcoming visit back home. She would be in town for a long weekend, and they had promised to spend as much time together as possible. But what if it wasn't the same? What if their friendship had changed too much? Ethan shook, his head trying to push those thoughts away. He picked up a letter from Mia that he had read a dozen times. In her last letter, she had written about how much she looked forward to seeing him again, how she had missed their silly traditions, and how she wanted to visit all their favorite places. Her words filled him with hope, reminding him of the bond they shared. Determined to make the most of their time together, Ethan began planning their weekend. He wanted to create new memories that would last a lifetime. He made a list of all the places they used to go: the park, the old diner, and the movie theater where they had spent countless afternoons. He wanted everything to be perfect. As the days passed, Ethan's excitement grew. He prepared a little gift for Mia, a scrapbook filled with photos and memories from their time together. He included notes about their adventures and funny moments that made him smile. It was a way to remind her of their friendship and how much she meant to him. Finally, the day of Mia's arrival came. Ethan woke up early, his heart racing with anticipation. He tidied up his room and made sure everything was ready for her. He checked the time over and over, counting down the minutes until he would see her again. When Mia arrived, Ethan felt a rush of emotions. She stepped off the bus, her eyes scanning the crowd until they landed on him. A huge smile broke across her face, and she ran toward him, wrapping her arms around him in a tight hug. "I can't believe I'm finally here," she exclaimed, her voice full of joy. Ethan hugged her back, feeling the warmth of her presence. "I missed you so much." "Welcome back." As they walked together, Ethan couldn't help but notice how Mia seemed different. She had grown more confident, her laughter brighter. They talked easily, reminiscing about old times and sharing stories about the past few months. It felt like no time had passed at all. Their first stop was the park, where they used to play and hang out. As they strolled through the familiar paths, Ethan felt a wave. As the days passed after Mia's visit, Ethan felt a mix of emotions. He was grateful for their time together, but now that she was gone again, he couldn't shake the feeling of emptiness. The laughter and joy they shared still echoed in his mind, but the silence of his room felt heavy. He missed her more than ever. Ethan spent his days going through the motion school, homework and chores, but his heart wasn't in it. He found himself daydreaming about their time at the diner, the way they joked and teased each other, and the comfort of just being together. But as evening fell each day, he felt a loneliness settle in, reminding him of the distance that separated them. One afternoon, while scrolling through his phone, Ethan stumbled upon a photo of Mia on social media. She was smiling brightly, surrounded by her new friends at a local event. A pang of sadness hit him. He was happy for her, but seeing her having fun without him made him feel distant again. What if she no longer needed him in her life? What if she found new friends who filled the space he once occupied? Determined to push these thoughts away, Ethan decided to reach out to Mia. He opened his laptop and started typing an email. "Hey, Mia, I saw your photo. You look like you're having a great time. I miss you so much. Things feel different without you here. Can we video chat soon?" He hesitated for a moment, wondering if he was being too emotional, but then hit send. Later that evening, as he sat in his room, he heard the familiar sound of a notification. It was a reply from Mia. His heart raced as he opened it. "Ethan, I miss you too. I'd love to video chat. How about tomorrow? I can't wait to catch up." Excitement bubbled inside him. He quickly replied, confirming their chat time. The next day felt like an eternity, but finally the moment arrived. As he set up his laptop, he felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. Would it be as easy as it was when she was here? When the video call connected, Mia's face appeared on the screen, and Ethan felt his heart lift. "Ethan, there you are," she exclaimed, her smile lighting up the room. "Hey, Mia. It's so good to see you," he replied, grinning from ear to ear. They began to talk, sharing stories and updates about their lives. Mia told him about her new job and how she was slowly making friends, while Ethan shared his struggles with school and how he missed their hangouts. As they talked, Ethan felt the distance between them shrink. "I've been feeling kind of lost," he admitted, his smile fading a little. "I thought being apart would be easier, but it's not. I miss our adventures together." Mia nodded, her expression serious. "I feel the same way, Ethan. I thought I'd make new friends and everything would be fine, but I still miss you. It's not the same without you here." Ethan felt a wave of relief wash over him. "I'm glad to hear you say that. Sometimes I worry that our friendship won't be the same anymore." "Distance is hard," Mia said, "but it's not impossible. We've always been there for each other. We just need to find new ways to connect." Ethan thought about her. Words. He wanted to be there for her, to support her in this new chapter of her life. What if we set up a regular time to chat? Like a weekly catch-up? We could even have virtual movie nights or game nights. "That's a great idea." Mia's eyes sparkled with excitement. "We can make it fun. It'll be like our own little tradition, even if we're apart." As they discussed their plans, Ethan felt hope bubbling inside him. They could still create new memories, even from miles away. They decided to set their weekly calls for Fridays, and Maya suggested they start with a movie night the following week. After their call, Ethan felt lighter. He had a plan, and it was a step toward reconnecting. He spent the next few days preparing for their first virtual movie night. He picked out a classic movie they both loved and gathered some snacks to enjoy during the call. When Friday finally arrived, Ethan was giddy with excitement. He set up his laptop, made popcorn, and even printed out a list of trivia questions about the movie to keep things fun. When the time came, he logged onto the video call, his heart racing. Mia appeared. On the screen, her hair slightly messy and a big smile on her face. "I'm ready for movie night," she said, holding up a bowl of popcorn. "Me too." Ethan laughed, feeling a wave of happiness. They started the movie, and as they watched together, they chatted and laughed, just like old times. Ethan felt the warmth of their friendship envelop him, reminding him that distance didn't have to change anything. Halfway through the film, they paused to discuss their favorite scenes and characters. They joked and teased each other, and for those moments, it felt like nothing had changed. Ethan realized that their connection was still strong, and it gave him hope for the future. After the movie, they played a trivia game, testing each other's knowledge about the film. Each question brought more laughter and fun, and Ethan felt grateful for this new way of connecting. It was different, but it was still special. As their call came to an end, Mia looked at him seriously. "Ethan, I know we're miles apart, but I want you to know that you're still my best friend. No distance can change that." Ethan felt a rush of warmth in his chest. "I feel the same way, Mia. I'm so glad we found a way to keep this going." After they hung up, Ethan felt a renewed sense of hope. He realized that while distance could be hard, it didn't have to define their friendship. They had the power to create new traditions and memories, no matter where they were. The next week, Ethan sent Mia a small surprise package. Inside, he included a new bracelet that matched the one he had made for himself, along with a handwritten note. Here's a little reminder that we're connected, no matter how far apart we are. When she received it, Mia called him, her voice filled with joy. Ethan, I love it. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me. Ethan smiled, feeling a sense of fulfillment. I just wanted you to know that I'm always here for you. As their weekly calls continued, they grew closer, even from a distance. They shared their lives, supported each other through challenges, and celebrated each other's successes. Every call brought new laughter and joy, and Ethan felt stronger knowing they were in it together. Through their efforts, they had turned what could have been a painful distance into a source of strength. They had learned to adapt and find new ways to connect, proving that their friendship could withstand anything. And as Ethan went to bed each night, he felt a sense of peace. No matter how far apart they would always be there for one another. He knew that even if she collapsed in his arms one day, her whispered words would remind him of their unbreakable bond. Together, they had found hope in their friendship, and that was all they needed to face the future. Asterisk as autumn rolled in, the air grew crisp and the leaves turned vibrant shades of red and gold. Ethan loved this time of year, but he felt a tinge of sadness as well. He had grown so close to Mia during their weekly calls and movie nights, but he still longed for the days when they could hang out in person. The distance sometimes felt heavy, like a weight he couldn't shake off. One Saturday morning, while sipping hot chocolate, Ethan stared out the window. He thought about how much he missed Mia and wished he could see her again. He remembered their last video call when she told him about a local festival in her new city. She had sounded so excited, and he wished he could experience it with her. Suddenly, an idea sparked in his mind. What if he surprised her by visiting for the festival? He quickly grabbed his phone and began to research the event. It was happening in just a few weeks, and it seemed like the perfect opportunity to reconnect in person. Ethan felt a rush of excitement and nervousness. He knew he had to plan everything carefully. He checked his savings and realized he had enough money for a bus ticket. The thought of seeing Mia again filled him with hope. He could already picture her reaction when he showed up at the festival. After making the decision, Ethan started organizing his trip. He bought the bus ticket and wrote down all the details of the festival. He also made a list of things he wanted to do while he was there: try the food, participate in the games, and most importantly, spend quality time with Mia. As the days passed, Ethan could hardly contain his excitement. He kept thinking about how wonderful it would be to see her smile in person. He wrote her a letter, telling her about the festival and how much he wished he could join her. He didn't mention his plan to visit, wanting to keep it a surprise. The day of the festival finally arrived. Ethan woke up early, his heart racing with anticipation. He packed a small bag, including his special bracelet that matched Mia's. He wanted to wear it as a reminder of their friendship. After a quick breakfast, he headed to the bus station. The ride felt long, but Ethan spent the time thinking about all the fun they would have together. He imagined walking through the festival with Mia, holding hands and laughing. He could almost hear her voice in his head, teasing him about something silly. When he arrived in her city, Ethan felt a mix of nerves and excitement. He quickly made his way to the festival grounds, following the sounds of laughter and music. As he approached, he could see colorful lights and booths filled with delicious food. The air was filled with the smell of popcorn and caramel apples. He took a deep breath and scanned the crowd, searching for Mia. He spotted her near a game booth, talking and laughing with a group of friends. Ethan's heart raced. He was so close. He felt a wave of joy wash over him as he approached. "Mia!" He called out, trying to get her attention. She turned.